Yeah, we'll be talking about the story of my dad, how he got kidnapped and murdered by the cartel. If you want to hear it, stay. I just recorded this video for like 8 minutes, but it told me this fucking battery shit. So, I was 14 years old, and prior to this happening, my dad was like, hey, I might get killed this year. Something might happen to me, and he was just telling me to be the man of the house, that he loves me a lot. Sorry, I was just eating, like always. And then they drive by my house like 3 times, and so I'm sitting in the couch, right? Everything's good. My dad's about to go up the stairs to shower. He's on Facebook videos, right? And I'm on my phone too, and I'm like, hey, Dad, are you gonna go to my aunt's house? He's like, yes. I'm like, I love you a lot. And he's like, I love you too. I'm laying in my hammock. It hits around 7, and all these fucking bullets like this long start coming through my room, and my ears start hurting, And I'm like, okay. I dropped to the ground, and because if I would have stood up, one would probably hit me because they were literally like bouncing off the walls. And I go to my dad's room, and I remember I look to the right, and we have this TV full of like cameras, and each of them have a slot, like 13 cameras that we had. And I remember seeing a guy's black eyes, just his eyes, because he had everything covered, and he had shot the camera. His gun was pointed up at it, and the camera, like glass, you could see it, right? And it froze on him, and I will never forget, his fucking look. And my dad comes out with a Q-tip and like a white towel, and he's like, son, what's going on? And I'm like, Dad, I'm young. I'm like, Dad, I think they're coming for you. And he's like, all right, get in the closet. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get in the closet. Because he wanted me to hide, right? And then he grabs his gun and like cocks it, and one of the bullets gets stuck. And he grabs another gun, goes to my window, walks to my room, and then shoots the whole clip. But they were already busting through the door, and they're like, put the fucking gun down, like speaking English but Spanish, trying to speak English. My dad doesn't speak any Spanish. And so I'm in front of my dad, and he's behind me going down the stairs. And he's like, don't hurt my niño, like, don't hurt my kid. He's trying to speak some type of Spanish, like, saying, just don't hurt me, over and over. And then, like, this guy pushes me to the floor, and a fucking dad just, like, my dad's fucking towel just falls, slips. So he's basically naked, and they had like guns to the side of like on their thighs, and large guns too, but holding them. And the guy thinks that he's gonna grab his friend's gun to the side of him, so the guy on the right of my dad turns around and shoots my dad in the leg. And I can never fucking explain, like, when you never hear your dad like cry or scream. Like, I've never seen my dad cry or scream in pain, right? But that fucking like scream that my dad, it pierced my fucking soul, And fucking a fountain of fucking blood just started pouring down his arteries because he got shot in his thigh, like above his thigh, by his hip bone. And he fell to the ground, like slipped with his own blood. And then the guy's like fucking, like, there was just so much fucking like blood on the ground. Like, my shoes got fucking dirty with blood. And then they took me upstairs. Something got in my eye. They took me upstairs, and I remember seeing him through the cameras. Like, this guy, they were picking up my dad like a fucking hammock and taking him outside to put him in the car. And my dad had like a Rolex on. And this guy just fucking like stopped, took it off my dad, and put it on. While my fucking dad is like fucking bleeding out. Like, they have him lifted up and the fucking blood's just pouring out like a fountain. Like a cascada, And then they throw my dad in the fucking back trunk. And then we had this lady who was my dad's like secretary for like 3 years. And she planned it all. And she comes to me, and I literally, well, before this happens, they take my dad. And I'm laying down in his room on the carpet because the guy was asking me a bunch of fucking questions, like where was the safes and all of this, right? And he takes like most of my dad's guns and everything, right? And I like go down the stairs, and I like just look outside, and I see them like taking away the cars. And I look at the park, and everybody's just having like a normal fucking day. And I'm like, damn, my life, I just lost like the most important thing to me, like my only parent. And like these people, and that's where life just seems so weird to me, like all these people are having a good day, and they don't seem that like this could be somebody's worst day of their life. And I step over like that's when before that I step over the blood. And I used to have the shoes like they have blood fucking coated on them. And I literally go to my aunt's house and I fall to the floor and everybody's outside because they heard like all the shots. And then like she comes to me and she's like, your dad's fine, he's in the hospital, but he wasn't, you know. And she's lying. That's the last time I seen her. Like I used to be close to her, you know. But the police told me she would do like surgeries on her face and change her body, and she was a kid trafficker, you know. And she worked for the cartel. And it was just like a 3-year long process that they did with my dad. And then these people called like 20 minutes later. They were like, we seen this guy, white, tall guy, get out of a trunk screaming naked. And they got in another car. And I was like right there and there, I just knew my dad was like fucked up, like cooked, right? And fucking cooked. Like my dad would want me to fucking laugh. I'm sorry, I have a weird way of coping to this shit. And then I remember I went to the scene and it was like a fucking Uber pool in the fucking back trunk. Of fucking blood. And then they called us like 3 times. Like the cartel would call us on the phone and you could hear my fucking dad's voice. Like my dad's voice was like, you know, just give them whatever they want and like sell everything and just fucking, they did not feed him shit. Just fucking naked in the black room, probably. Sorry. And then I remember just standing over the calls. I could never say anything, but I would just hear his voice, you know. It fucking broke me, bro. And then, like, fucking a month and a half later, I wake up at like 8 a.m. My family doesn't know anything after like countless blood tests, having to identify people, like going to the police station and stuff, because I was the only one who's seen everything, right? And one day I'm waking up on Facebook Live and I see this fucking black bag in the fucking like back of the video, and I see my dad. So my dad was tattooed like his whole chest, whole back, and both arms and neck. And I see just my dad's like colorful tattoos on his back, like just they cut his like whole torso. They cut like this off, like this his arm, like his fucking this, like this whole thing is one, and then like this is one piece and this is another piece. That's how they cut him and its head off, and you could just see like the outline and then the neck cut off. And like I got there, and I had to like identify it, you know, like they had cut fucking everything, and they shot him 16 more times to like make sure he was dead. Like they had burned some fucking pieces off of him. Mind you, they had him for like a month and a half. They said he only lived 3 to 5 fucking days. So they had him for like almost 2 months, you know, calling us. And we gave them like cars, and they used that to kill more cops, you know. So the whole just fucking story of this is just love your parents. Like, you don't know when it's gonna be their last day, you know. Nah, I'm sorry for crying. I'm not trying to be like a bitch. But that shit is like that. My dad is the only thing I had, and ever since I lost him, I've been fucking alone, you know. Have no clue. Nobody that checks up on me at night. You know, if I'm sick, you know, he was the one who would bring me my fucking bucket if I had to throw up, or bought me my suero when I was fucking like. Now I have to walk, like, you know. It just fucking broke my fucking soul. You know, just seeing my dad like that. And I bet there's some fucking video out there how they cut him up. Thank you so much for listening and staying for the video. Just don't say anything disrespectful in the comments or anything like that. But thank you, and I hope you have a good night. Just remember, hug your parents, tell them you love them. And I'm sorry if anything close to this has happened to you. I bet there's probably somebody who lost like a primo or tia to the cartel. It really changes your life, you know. But thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.